Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. All right, please continue to pray as hard as you can for me by singing along with me, gesturing at your screen, and hitting the like button. Let's do it again. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. So yesterday, just before bed, I asked you guys to pray that I would go to sleep and wake up and it would be 1998 all over again. My inspiration for the prayer was that I'm dating a distant cousin of Eve Curry. And when I added her on Facebook and found her birthday, I thought about what I was doing around that time. And my family and I had taken a trip to Taiwan. It was just before my younger brother was born. I was still an only child at the time. And also, they had taken me to a food festival in downtown Pittsburgh where I caused a little bit of mischief. I turned on the bathroom sink and caused the bathroom to flood. And I was just carefree. I wasn't worried about my career. I wasn't worried about, I was 10 years old at the time. I wasn't worried about uh, art projects. I didn't have to worry about a side hustle just to make ends meet. I didn't hadn't started dating yet, right? And what else? I hadn't didn't have financial worries, right? The, my biggest financial worry may have been just whether or not my parents were going to buy me a toy that I wanted, at best, right? Not whether or not I could eat tomorrow or whether or not I could invest in my future, right? So, for example, I'm submitting a paper to a conference in Taiwan, whether or not I could go there or even pay the entry fee for the conference, those kind of worries, right? And so I didn't have any of that at the time. I wasn't thinking about tariffs and all that. Hey, right? That my art supplies are going to be out of reach because of tariffs or any of that, right? I wasn't worried about commuting. Right now, the only thing I really, Peter, dislike about my job at the community college is the commuting. Ah, I would be living the dream if I had the same job, but I could teleport to work, right? Push a button and zang, I'm there, right? Um, by the way, remote work doesn't really count because I need that face-to-face interaction with the students. If I could press a button and zang, I'm there. Oh, I'd be living the dream. Even if I made the same amount of money, if I could just teleport, first of all, I wouldn't be making the same amount of money because I'd have a lot more time to go for another job, right? If I could do that, right? But anyways, I didn't have any of those worries when I was 10 years old. And so when I saw her profile and the birthday, and it just brought a moment of joy and sadness. Joy in that I did experience that when I was 10 years old. Sadness in that I couldn't go back. And so I asked you to pray that when I would wake up, it would be 1998 again. And I woke up this morning, and the first thing I saw was that there was a pause on the tariffs. I'm hoping that it will last a little bit. I'm gonna check with my supplier, see if I can buy some crystalline gold, as I call it. See if I can buy at least another half ton or so. I gotta be careful though because I'm moving soon, so I don't want too much to hold me down. Another thing I might buy is the rocket gold. Can't really melt it, but you can do anodization art. By the way, if you know what crystalline gold and rocket gold are, leave a comment. I love giving nicknames to the different metals on the periodic table. So my rule of thumb is if it's on the sixth period, I name it after gold. If it's on the fifth period, I name it after silver. So there's crystalline gold, and then there's soldering silver, and then there's galvanizing copper. If it's on the fourth period, I name it after copper. Bonus points if you know what I'm talking about here. So there's crystalline gold, bullet gold, although bullet gold wasn't really affected by the tariffs. And so, what else have I worked with? I hope to figure out how to work with rat killer gold at some point, right? But it's even more toxic than the bullet gold. And then there's liquid gold. What I hope to do with liquid gold is get a glass shaped in whatever I want, right? The Ganesh, the Buddhas, or whatever, and then fill it with the liquid gold, and then seal it shut, right? I hope to make an art piece that looks like that. And then on the silver row, there's I've worked with actual silver as well. It's a high melting point though. And then there's the touchscreen silver, right? The stuff that makes your computer respond to touch input. There's a battery silver, but that's kind of toxic. I have some, but I haven't really worked with it yet because I haven't figured out how to safely do that. And then and then my other favorite metal, the galvanizing copper. I'm so glad the tariffs are ending. Hopefully, I can accumulate more of all of that. All right. So, a moment of joy and sadness in that I can never go back to 1998 again. Every time I mean, I have traveled back to Taiwan since then, but the trips are never the same again. Now that I actually have adult responsibilities, the trips just aren't the same anymore. Not to mention, ever since 9/11, the concept of traveling has been completely appended, right? I think that was my last trip to Taiwan before 9/11, right? Fortunately, a lot. I was worried that COVID would forever change travel. Fortunately, none of that has stuck, right? But the 9/11 stuff definitely has, right? All right. Please continue to pray for me. I'm going to go order some crystalline gold. So pray that I get a good price there as well. Pray that uh, I have good relations with Eve Curry. Pray that tomorrow when I wake up, it's 1998 again. Now, what would I do if I woke up and it really was 1998? Well, for starters, if I can remember all of the historical financial data, what I could do is invest, right? I could buy some. I think in 1998, gold would have been a good buy, right? It was like $250 an ounce. And then in 2010, I would trade that gold for Bitcoin, obviously, right? And then come 2021. Wait, when did Bitcoin peak? In 2021, it was 70,000. I think I would trade it for the crystalline gold at that point because it was real cheap at that time, right? And then I would trade the crystalline gold back for maybe actual gold or maybe silver at just after Trump signed the tariffs, right? And how much money would I be sitting on if I made those trades? I'll let you do the calculation. This is the Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum.